solve this simultaneous equation, and we are going to use the substitution method. So the first thing I'll do is label my equations. This is equation 1, equation 2. All right, so we have to choose an equation now. So usually I will choose an equation with the coefficient of +1. So in equation 2, I have y. The coefficient of y is +1. The coefficient of x is -1. I could use that, but if I have the coefficient of y of being +1, I'll choose the +1. I'll stay away from the x squared and the y squared, because when you transpose and you make the x or y in equation 1 the subject of the formula, you'll get the square root of something. That just makes your question a little more complicated. So stay away from complication. So once you have +1y here, choose this. Choose an equation 2. So I'm going to say using equation 2, all right. So the reason why I chose equation 2, because I want to make one of the variables the subject of the formula, and I would like the coefficient of that variable to be +1. So since y is +1 here, I'll use y. You could use x, right? You could use x and transpose and get +1x equals to whatever. You get +1x is equal to y minus 5, all right? You could use that as well. But for me, I'll use equation 2, and I'll let y be the subject of the formula. Simple. And I have to label this equation 3. All right, so y is equal to 5 plus x. I'm going to substitute equation 3 into equation 1. If you use equation 2 and you transpose it to get equation 3, you have to substitute equation 3 into the other equation. In this case, it's equation 1. So I'm just going to write that. And so I'll write down equation 1 first. All right, so instead of writing y, we write 5 plus x, because y is equal to 5 plus x. All right, so when you substitute equation 3 into equation 1, y is equal to 5 plus x. So wherever you see y, you put in 5 plus x. So here you have y squared, so 5 plus x, go back to square. Now we have to deal with this here. So this is expansion of brackets. So we have 5 plus x squared. Check out that video. I wouldn't be going into too much detail with this. Check out expansion of brackets to get an in-depth understanding as to how to expand brackets. All right, so when you expand this bracket, you get this result below here. Remember, 5 plus x in bracket squared simply means you're multiplying those two brackets by itself. 5 plus x by itself. What? You can jump from here to here once you know the rules. If you have two terms inside of here and the bracket is raised to the power of 2, you say 5 squared is 25. Multiply the first term by the last term by the power. 5 by x is 5x. 5x times 2, you get 10x, right? So we have 25 plus 10x. If we square plus 1x, we get plus 1x squared or x squared. So we have our answer here. So I'm going to rewrite this, but instead of 5 plus x, I'm going to put this information below here. All right, so let me tell you. So I substituted this this answer here. When I expanded this bracket, I got this 17 I transpose. So if I subtract 17 on this side, I have to subtract 17 on this side. That is how I got this negative 17 here, and 17 minus 17 is 0. All right. Now I'm going to group like terms. You don't have to do it. I'm just emphasizing. So group like terms. Right. Right. So group like terms and simplify, you get this. You can move from here straight to here. All right. So x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. If you write down 10x, because there isn't a like term to add or subtract, positive 25 minus 17 is plus 8. And all that is equal to 0. So you could have gone from here to here if you wanted. Now, this quadratic equation, we make sure we have x squared first, x second, constant last. We see that we can divide each term by 2. Each term by 2. So to make our lives easier, we're going to do that. Right? 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 10 is 5, 2 into 8 is 4, 2 into 0 is 0. Right? Remember, whatever we do on the left-hand side of the equation, we have to do on the right-hand side of the equation as well. So now we are going to factorize. So we are going to factorize this equation here. Check out my video on factorization. Again, I'm not going into too much detail with it. Check out my factorization video. I did it in detail there, so you can follow this easily. All right, so the reason why I did all of this is to get two numbers in the middle here to get 5x. All right, so I chose 2 2s are 4, 4 and 1. All right, 4 and 1, 4 plus 1 is 5. So 4x plus 1x is 5x. So instead of writing 5x, I wrote 4x plus 1x. Here we have 3 terms. So here we have 4 terms. So I can factorize 2 terms at a time. All right, so we have x plus 4 and x plus 1 equals to 0. Continuing. So x plus 4 equals to 0. X is equal to negative 4. Well, I like to say x1 is equal to negative 4. Simply, there's the first x that is equal to negative 4. Right? X subscript 1 is equal to negative 4. Just x1, right? So it's equal to negative 4. The reason why I put 1 here is just to state, okay, there's the first x I'm dealing with, right? Next, x plus 1 equals 0. x2 is equal to negative 1. This just indicates it's the second x I'm dealing with. If somebody had x2 equals negative 4 and x1 equals negative 1, full marks, correct. Remember, it's a simultaneous equation, so if we found for x, we have to find for y. So let's deal with that, and we have to use equation 3, which is y is equal to 5 plus x. So we have y is equal to 5 plus x. Therefore, y1 is equal to 5 plus negative 4. Right. So we have negative 4 and 1. This is x1, y1. So instead of x, we put negative 4 because we want to find out what is y1. All right, so we have to use x1 in order for us to find out what is the first y. So 5 plus x, Now, when you deal with a negative number, usually I tell students, put it in a bracket. Put your negative number in a bracket. So when you're multiplying your signs, because bracket means multiplication, when you're multiplying two different signs, it's a negative. 5 minus 4 is 1. So we're going to do the same thing for x2 or x subscript 2. So we have y2 is equal to 5 plus right. So we have y equals 5 plus x, so y2 is 5 plus, since x is negative 1, as I said, put it in a bracket, 5 plus negative 1, multiplying two different signs with a minus, similar to what we did across here. 5 minus 1 is 4, so we have negative 1, 4, all right? So we found for x, we found for y. If you notice, this equation here is the equation of a circle. And this equation here is the equation of a straight line. So what really transpired is if you have a circle and you have a line going through it, we'll end up with 2 points. So that is why we have 2 points. We have this point and another point, right? So that's how you get 2 points. Additionally, if you want to verify your work, say I wonder if I write boy, we have x equals negative 4 and y equals 1. So if we put that here, so if x equals negative 4 and y equals 1, so if y equals 1 minus negative 4, right? When we're multiplying two same signs is a positive. 1 plus 4 is 5. So we see we correct there. Also, x is negative 4, y is 1. So if we have negative 4 squared plus 1 squared, negative 4 squared is 16 plus 1 squared is 1. 16 plus 1 is 17. So we see that is correct. We could also verify this one here. All right, so we deal with negative 1 and 4 and use x and y. X is negative 1, y is 4. So y is 4 and x is negative 1. If we multiply same signs, positive, 4 plus 1 is 5, right? And same thing, if x is negative 1 and y is 4, so negative 1 squared plus 4 squared, right? Negative 1 squared is 1, 4 squared is 16, 1 plus 16 is 17. So clearly we saw that those points as well worked out, all right? So the question is just as long, it's not difficult at all once you understand the algorithm. Once you understand the steps involved, the question is not difficult at all right? So that's it for simultaneous equation, and in this case, we used the substitution method.